The day dawned bright and clear as the 1987 Head Injury Stroke Independence Project's 24-hour marathon began. Friends of the group and survivors of head injury gathering at the Alumni Field track. It included many members of the community. Also, former MSJ basketball coach Jim Kelly turned out to do a few laps. Coming up next, you'll see the eventual Ted Williams Trophy winner Lisa Bernardin, along with local supporter Dr. Blaine Nezveschuk and another friend of the HIS. The 24-hour marathon, the major fundraising and awareness-raising event for the Head Injury Stroke Independence Project. Participants in the marathon included the young and the strong and the not-so-young and the very young. Folks ran and walked and wheeled around the track for 24 hours. Some folks just needed a hand. Including our friend Dave Fedorka. Joining us from Chittenden, and specifically the Barstow Elementary School, was young Adam Walk, as he led a contingent of classmates for the second year. He's a faithful supporter of the Head Injury Stroke Independence Project, and we appreciate Adam's support. Also on hand was his father, Barstow School Principal Dave Walk, who joined Adam for a lap or two, or was it 3? As usual, the registration tent was a busy, busy place throughout the 24-hour marathon, as folks registered, picked up their numbers, and checked their laps, and enjoyed refreshments, and visited with friends, and made new friends as well. And, of course, admired the trophy donated by honorary board member Ted Williams. The trophy given to the survivor of head injury who accumulates the most miles throughout the 24-hour marathon. Speaking of friends of HIS, the Reverend Richard Marceau has been an integral part of the group since its founding. The Reverend will be leaving the area this summer and will be greatly missed. Thanks, Dick, for everything, and good luck with your future. Other friends included Claudia Barrett, who's scooted around the track, and you'll see our 73 years young friend Bill Scott back again to take laps for HIS. Next, we'll be talking with HIS founder Emmy Burke and board president Dr. Bernie Buteau. Burke, who is the founder of the HIS Independence Project, and we mentioned earlier that this all started because of what was ostensibly a tragedy in the family, and that was the accident that your son Lenny suffered. How did you find it in that tragedy to start something that has turned into such a wonderful project?
Well, I don't think it was anything that I really planned. It was just something that I did. Either I had to find a way of using my energy in a positive way, or I knew that I was going to be in trouble. There was just so much of a need for something like this. And I certainly knew, and our family knew firsthand, because of not having information when this did happen to Lenny. And I also believed in the people in Vermont that we had the potential for some wonderful leaders in head injury, and we actually, have proven that. So it's a matter of faith.
This was a groundbreaking type of program. As you said, there was no support organization when you were going through this.
That's right. There was no support organization in the state, but more than that, there was nothing in the United States. There was no national organization either.
Now, why do you need a support group for this type of injury?
Well, it's an overwhelming disability. It's one that hits so quickly that a person who is totally unprepared is just devastated. And people need to have information. They need to have education. They need to know what's ahead for them at their own pace, but they at least need to have it available so that they can pursue the steps very carefully and have some kind of ownership as to what decisions are being made, and not rely totally on other professionals who may not really understand totally what is involved, the dynamics of the family, what the person was like before the injury, what their interests are. It's something that becomes a family matter.
3 years ago, on his own, a one-man run of 95.5 miles. How did that occur to you as a way to raise funds, or was that the whole thought?
Well, the idea came from a newsletter that Emmy got from the New Jersey Head Injury Association, where a man had run a 24-hour one-man marathon in memory or as a tribute to his injured nephew. So Emmy said, gee, this would be a good idea up here.
Why don't you do it?
Well, that was basically it. And I said, why not? I've never run that far that long before, but I'm sure I can train for it, and I did. And, I have not run that far since, and I probably never will run that far again.
But you have been back out on the track this year.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I've been running around and walking and helping to support other people in the wee, small hours of the morning. I've learned that it's lonely out there when you're out there by yourself.
About 1:30, 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock in the morning, it gets pretty cold and dark, doesn't it?
It sure does. It sure does. We're really heartened this year by the turnout. Right now, if you've seen me glancing nervously around, we've got probably about 20 runners out at this time, and yesterday we've had as many as 35 or 40 people out at a time. And overall, I think we're probably close to 75 or 80 participants this year.
Well, that's excellent, because that's up from 46 of last year. Is the HIS group your first experience with fundraising and the frustrations that go along with that?
Yes, it is really, as far as a responsible position. I've been members of service clubs and things before, but to be part of a group where we have a definite need and know that we have to go out and get the money is new and challenging. It
is challenging, isn't it? You have to get the word out to people, and you have to hope they respond, and it has been very good this year.
Yes, we've been getting a good response in everything that we've done and we've asked for, and as Emmy said, it is a lot of work, but we realize that to get the funds, we have to put some effort out.
And of course, the reason that you got involved with HIS in the first place was your son.
I have a head-injured son who, when we moved to Vermont 3 years ago, became involved with the support group here, and that's how I got involved.
Our Brett Buteau and Lenny Burke, and we're going to talk for just a moment with Brett. Now, last year, you were an active participant out on the track. Brett, what was your goal last year for coverage?
It was 17 miles.
And you went that many?
Yeah, 17 and a half. I went a little over.
Sure, why not?
Why not?
Yeah. Now, this year, you put your efforts into a couple of other things other than getting out and running. You're wearing one of them. That was a design of yours, right?
Yeah, it's a T-shirt that me and Sandy Quarter of Multimedia Advertising up in Middlebury came up with, along with this poster right here.
Now, that was quite a bit of work that went into the poster. We have 2 or 3 different ones. This obviously is an offshoot of what you're doing in your personal life. You're involved in art and advertising, correct?
Yes, I am. I'm an art major over at Castleton State College.
So you were able to put that training to good use.
Right, yeah.
You've also been up here in support of the runners. You've been here through a good part of the marathon, right?
Uh-huh. Yeah, I've been here since the beginning and sporadically in between, you know.
Offering moral support.
That's all.
Okay. Now, if this gentleman with the trophy could step over here just a little bit. Lenny Burke.
No problem, Jeff.
How are we doing this year?
Good.
You had a goal last year of, I think, 10 miles, and you went well over that, didn't you?
Yeah, I did 12 last year. I had to go at 10 this year, but I only did 10 and a half this year. I may do another couple of laps for 11, but I'm not really sure, Jeff.
Now, this trophy you're holding is the Ted Williams Trophy. Ted Williams is very much involved in the HIS program. He autographed baseballs for us. We put his picture on the poster. He gave us the trophy, and you've met Ted Williams.
Yeah, he's a great guy. You wouldn't believe what it's like to meet that guy.
A living legend.
The greatest hitter in the history of baseball.
And he has given us this trophy to give to the top runner. And is that something you're shooting for?
No.
Oh. You're taking it a little bit easy this year.
I did 10 and a half miles, which I think is about 9 and a half more than I thought I would do. But this is for somebody that's really got great legs.
Okay.
They're still out there running right now.
All right. Now, what are you involved with personally now? I know you've been still involved with sports. Your golf game is up there.
Up where?
Up there in the low numbers, right?
As low as I can, but...
And what about, you still involved in basketball in some way?
I'm still the assistant coach of the Barstow 7th and 8th grade boys basketball team with Kevin Keefe, a guy from Rutland that went to Rutland High School. We really enjoy that a lot.
So you keep busy with sports?
Yeah.
All right.
Couldn't stay away from it, Jeff, you know?
It's in your blood.
That's right.
All right. Thank you. Lenny Burke and Brett Buteau. The 1988 HIS 24-hour marathon will be on August 27th and 28th. It'll be at the same place, the Alumni Field, and it'll be for 24 hours. Again, to raise funds and to raise awareness. The Head Injury Stroke Independence Project which is the Vermont chapter of the National Head Injury Foundation, has come a long way in a relatively short time. There's now Lenny Burke's farm in Wallingford, where 3 survivors of head injury are residing in a home atmosphere while making their way back into the world. And it's thanks to all the people who help in the marathon, including these next 2 brand new board members at HIS. Lisa and John, come on over here. How are we doing?
Fine.
Good, good. Why don't you step to the to your left there? We'll get ladies first here, okay? I think that's the way it should be. Lisa Bernardin and John Phoenix are here with us. Lisa, let's start with you. Have you got your breath?
Yes.
Okay, you just took a short lap around. Tell me about your feelings out here running in this marathon for HIS again this year. We'll talk about last year in a minute. But what kind of feeling do you get seeing all the people that are out here and running together?
I think it's wonderful. It's for a good cause, and it feels good to work for a really good reason.
Now, last year, I think your numbers were up around, what, 30 miles?
30 miles, yeah.
And I remember at the very end, we were about 5 minutes to the end of the marathon. We wanted to quit, and you said no because you had 1 more lap to go. So if you have a goal, you stick to it.
I think that's true.
And what are you doing this year for mileage?
32.
So a little bit more.
Yes.
How did you find out about the HIS project?
I found out about it because 2 years ago I was in an automobile accident myself, so I am a closed head injured person.
And so after your recovery, you found out about HIS?
Yes.
And what has Emmy Burke and Bernie Buteau and these people done for you?
They have been able to give me information about my rehabilitation, and I was able to receive newsletters and find out what was happening so I could sort of stay involved with other people of the similar circumstances, or it also led me to realize other people that had it worse off than I had.
So you know you're not alone out there.
Exactly.
Yeah, well, it's a great group of people, and it's good to see you back again, because I guess you must have felt good about last year's marathon to come out again.
Yes, I did.
All right.
Very much.
Thank you. What are you doing with your life now?
I'm a speech and language pathologist.
Mm-hmm. Whereabouts?
For schools. I live in Burlington, so I work for schools.
Well, good. Nice to see you again.
Thank you. Bye.
And John, come on over here. We've been involved together for a number of months now putting this together. What is your involvement from your position at Castleton College?
Well, I just tried to organize everything through the marathon and try to get as much support and participation from the college, and really took care of the Fairhaven, Pulteney, Castleton area as far as promotion and things like that, and it's been fun.
Yep. Now, you're in sports medicine or sports training?
Athletic training at Castleton, where we have a very successful program in athletic training, and many of my students are over helping and running. One of my students just completed his 20th mile, and I have many other students that have done at least 10.
And how about yourself?
I just completed my 20th mile, and that was my goal.
All right. Well, it's good to have it met, and it's good to see you, and hopefully you'll be involved with this marathon in years to come.
Oh, I certainly will. It's for a great cause, and you meet so many good people, and I've enjoyed it.
Great. Well, back on the track you go.
Thank you.
Thank you, John and Lisa. The marathon's corporate sponsors have been Mincer Brothers and Killington Ski Area, and we thank them very much. Plus Castleton State College and Multimedia Advertising of Middlebury and the folks who supplied food and beverages for the events. But the greatest effort is from those between the ages of 3 and 83 who participate, and you can be one. You can help. Join us for all or part of the 24 hours. Walk a mile with us, or walk 50 miles with us, or support someone else with a pledge for every mile they cover. You can call the HIS Independence Project at 446-3017. That's a Wallingford number. And pledge your support. Remember, it'll be August 27th and 28th this year. Put it on your calendar and join in the fun. Now, here's last year's victory lap at the end of the marathon, when everybody got together for one last lap together to celebrate the end of the 24-hour marathon. The victory lap was accompanied by the music and vocals of former Rutland resident Ken Shaw. His wife is a survivor of a head injury, and she's out on the track with their little daughter for the victory lap. And Ken wrote a song and came to sing it for the group for the final lap.
Happy jump.
Thanks, Ken, and thanks everyone who helped last year, and we look forward to meeting new friends of HIS this year. Remember, August 27th and 28th for the 4th annual HIS Independence Project's 24-hour marathon at the Alumni Field. We'll see you there.
Let's go for it. Well done, guys.